Welcome to the Carry Handle Gaming. I'm Kevin, and Bryce is.
Also here. Hello.
Well, hello. Today we'll be reviewing a game that's near and dear to our hearts. Bryce, what game are we reviewing? Seeing how I can throw it at you now.
It seems as if we might be reviewing Ground Bridge.
Yep. So Ground Bridge is a nice tactical shooter where you shoot terrorists and wait a minute. We're not shooting terrorists. We're shooting people.
Wait, what?
Oh. The game we're playing is Ready or Not, or we're SWAT, and we attempt to not murder people.
Oh, wait. I mean, occasionally we shoot terrorists, right?
Bryce likes to call them terrorists to the therapist that we go to, but in reality, we both know.
Yeah. So, what? I mean, we're talking about a game.
Yeah, what's our experiences for Ready or Not? Like, how do we like the mechanics? How do we like the story? I mean, I like the SWAT tactics and the slow pace. I know you absolutely dread not being able to run everywhere.
Okay, so I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say that it's a problem that I can't run. I would say that there are some missions where it's kind of weird that you can't at least walk at a normal pace.
We are walking at a normal pace. We're just, tactically walking.
Yes, I wish you could tactically walk a little fucking faster.
Well, that's just not part of the
Heel
part of the
toe
mechanic.
with purpose, man. Come on. Because, like, specifically, Kevin and I were just playing the white elephant mission, and that's...
Elephant.
Or elephant, sorry. The elephant mission, and...
Where they're wasting civilians.
You're fighting the clock, and for those that don't know, the elephant episode, or mission, is modeled after a school shooting, so it's a little rough. And then the name refers to the Columbine documentary about it. So it's in a school, and so you have to be quick and efficient and be able to shoot the bad guys before they kill all the good guys. Although I'm sure there's like a ridiculous there's probably a ridiculous playthrough where somebody did non less than lethal.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the only place there's unseen is basically what we have tried, which is bypassing all the civilians. Like, never mind them, going right for the bad guys, and just trying to get them neutralized, Ideally, safely and in handcuffs, but if not, room temperature is okay.
So we've kind of gotten into it a little bit, and we've talked a little bit about mechanics. I guess that's where we can kind of start, is when you say SWAT. Is this based on the property, like the original video game SWAT?
Yeah. Well, I think it is.
Okay.
Hopefully,
because I mean, because I mean, even in the mod menu, there's a bunch of I believe there's a bunch of mods for like the original skins. So this game is it's not a AAA title. It lives on Steam. Eventually, in the very near future,
cross-platform.
Yeah, it'll be cross-platform. So technically, it'll be really getting close to that AAA title. More so than, that's as close as what DayZ got, or is, as you can consider it.
I believe so, yeah.
Or like World of Thunder, or whatever it is that you keep trying to get me to play.
War Thunder. Yes.
War Thunder, that one.
Yes, a game that you should play. But yeah, if you play the original SWAT, like 3 and SWAT, really SWAT 4 is the most similar.
Okay.
Because the mechanics in that game are pretty... It's basically this... Ready or Not is an updated version of that.
So I guess maybe that's something we should try and plan, is playing SWAT 4 and then maybe trying to draw some similarities in what we think. I mean, obviously, I don't... Can you even get SWAT 4 on Steam? Or we'd have to probably buy it.
We'd have to do some... You can get SWAT 3.
Okay, so we'd have to figure out a different kind of way of doing that. Okay, so we've talked about... So it's not a linear shooter in that... I mean, yes, they are set levels, and yes, they are set maps. But there's usually a rough outline of what you're going in, and there's a general understanding of how you're going into a situation. So in terms of how they ready up, it's not like a normal... It doesn't have a clip. It doesn't have a movie. It's just... There's a tablet, and sometimes there's some pictures, and sometimes there's a recording.
Well,
so
Yeah, it's like a briefing, and 911, and they have 911 calls that we can listen
I think it's
to.
an efficient way to introduce the story because it's not so much that if you don't care about it, it doesn't matter if you know about it, other than the fact that, sometimes you need to arrest people and sometimes you can't just shoot them. In often cases, if you actually look at the game, with the exception of a couple missions, as you're not really supposed to be killing anybody, you start thinking about the game a little different. You start approaching it differently. It also plays like a completely different game that you will hate, but love somehow.
Right.
If you try to do less than lethal.
And also, like, speaking about the world, like, the world they built, it feels real, it feels lived in. Like, when we die in the game, it's just like, oh, he's dead, move on, It's very cold and gritty in that sense that it doesn't prioritize you as the player. Like,
well,
at the center of the game.
I think it kind of goes deeper than that because, obviously we play as a 2 or even as a 3 when we have somebody from our Discord come on, but
right.
You get penalized for not reporting a downed officer, and we laugh and joke about it when it's just 2 of us, but when you see guys are doing it like with like groups of 4 and 6, it's like, okay, that starts making more and more sense, and it's like, well, yeah, I definitely feel like we're losing a section of the game by only playing with 2 people. That, I think, speaks more towards the fact that the game can successfully be played with technically 1 person, but realistically, it's meant for 2
one person,
players.
1 person with
at
bots.
least.
And I've heard the bots are kind of very aggressive.
I've had mixed luck with the bots in my own. I haven't done the campaign because the permadeath kind of scares me, which is another thing we can kind of touch on. I have not gone through the entire campaign. Granted, I play the game not for a campaign. I play it because I enjoy the
lore and the story.
I enjoy this. Enjoy is a strong word. I appreciate the story. I enjoy the gameplay. Enjoy the gameplay, but especially since while they're not random generated. There's a general space things typically are. It's different enough from spawn to spawn, from map to mission to whatever version, that it changes just enough for it to be different.
Well, it has a lot of replayability too, because even though in the story and the lore, each map kind of flows into itself with the little hidden nuggets of evidence that you find. It leads to the next map, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Each map has its own replayability, because like you said, you can do less than lethal, you can try this way, you can try that way.
Oh my god, less than lethal. I maintain less than lethal.
Each map has replayability in the sense that you can do it over and over and over, and Lord knows we've done maps over and over and over again. Because they're kind of procedurally drawn with random number generated. Some doors are open, some doors are closed.
They are procedurally randomized.
The layout doesn't change. Yeah, the layout doesn't change, but like the way spawns happen, the ways doors are open.
Yeah, and I would say hotspots change depending on the map. I will say, based on the perceived difficulty of the enemy, they move around differently. They're more dynamic based on what. There's if you just jump straight to the practice mission, you don't really care which way you go. You're gonna start running into an armored NPC a little bit more and more, and the further in the game, the more of those guys and the more armor they have, the better guns they have. So I do appreciate the first mission in the game is a great way to walk into the game, because if you play that mission, there's plenty of videos of people getting their shit pushed in on the first mission, which is the gas station mission, which is actually the easiest mission.
Oh, I definitely got my foot pushed in.
Yeah,
a couple of times.
So I would say that's definitely a great way to start the mission, especially in terms of graphics, because like you're casually clearing the gas station and you open the door and there's just a gentleman missing most of his face, and you're like, okay, well, that's setting the tone. You're just buying in the rest of it, so the visuals And there's some, I mean, relatively to what it is, there's some upsetting visuals, which, you know, are pretty impactful. If you're relatively sensitive, I was going to put a qualifier on that, but I was going to say if you're sensitive in general, I mean, this has got some themes that are pretty aggressive. And I think maybe we can kind of dovetail into something slightly unpleasant about this so far about it, or in regards to what's happening.
It's realism, you know. It's gritty. It's
right,
real.
but what's happening with that? People may not be super thrilled about in terms of the themes and the realism, like the cross-platform. I'm more alluding to what's going on, the issues. I mean, we don't necessarily need to get into it too much, but there is a bit of drama right now about it, about some changes being made to the game.
There is some limited censoring that's being done.
So can you just give us kind of like elevator pitch and kind of what your personal opinion is, and then I guess I can do kind of the same thing, and we can just to acknowledge it, maybe.
Yes. So I acknowledge that they are censoring for cross-platform purposes. I'm not totally in agreement with them censoring. My fear is that where does the buck stop? And my other fear is once it comes to cross-platform, the people of the world who may see this game and say, "Oh no, what is that?" may demand censorship. So I mean,
so you're saying if you give them an inch, take a mile, kind of thing.
Right. I mean, from what I've read right now, they're doing the bare minimum. So any asset change they can change on only the PlayStation. They're doing so, and then assets they have to do universally. They're doing so.
Okay. Well, I mean, there. I guess there will be post and pre and post convulsing girl. that'll be the litmus test for when you came into the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think they already did the updates. I mean, the map.
I think you're right. Yeah. So. I am more on the side of I have more faith in games that are made on Steam than I ever do with AAA titles right now. Now, I don't know how much more faith, but more. So I'm more excited about this. I think it's I think it's going to be a net positive in terms of eyes on the game, more money for development, DLCs, and more games. I'm being cautiously optimistic, though. So I definitely understand the concerns. Now, with that being said, it's still got some. It's still staying pretty good. I mean, so far so good, right?
Yeah, it's still impactful, and I don't feel like they've lost sight of what they're going for. And then, like, also the weapons, like the realism of the weapons and the choices that you have. You know, like the models and stuff are pretty spot on to real life guns. What'd you say?
Absolutely, and I'm impressed with the selection in terms of it's not. I mean, I guess it's pretty comprehensive in terms of shotguns, subguns, long guns, handguns. I mean, it's an eclectic selection. It's varied. It's not as simple as you might think. Now, I will say I don't know how much it matters. Other than, usually there's like the hierarchy doesn't really seem to matter gun to gun. It's more caliber to caliber. It's like, okay, this is a battle rifle. This is a couple rounds. And then the 5.56 is better than the subgun. And then the subgun is better than a handgun. And that's pretty much it. I think it's just that. I don't know that the hit factors, because I know we played around a little bit with, like, in terms of sandboxing, which gun seems or feels more effective, but in terms of my hyper nerdy thought processes here,
Give it
the
to us.
AR versus the G36 versus even the SLR 47, which is just the 30 cal crank. I mean, all of those basic assault rifle variants, all in my hands when I shoot and I'm playing the game. The only real difference between them kind of just seems to be how the reticle jumps around. Past that, I don't know how much the hit factors are really changing.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like like you said, the caliber difference from 5.56 to 308 to 9mm to 10mm to God's caliber.
I will say that probably is a little bit more fresh on my mind because we did play Elephant, and those those college kids are fucking they're armored to the nines, and they just soak up the bullets unless you're shooting them with full house AP 308.
Right, and that kind of draws back to I like how Ready or Not incorporates that type of mechanic, because a lot of games, like, they'll give you armored, air quote, armored enemies.
Yeah, they're not really notice unless you use a certain caliber or certain ammo type, and then you don't notice anymore.
Yeah, well, if you're using a pistol caliber or something, you're like, oh wow, they are armored.
Yeah.
In Ready or Not, it's like they have different levels of armor. Like there's this one mission when the crazy guy. The one crazy guy. Like, there's 3 guys in there, and they all have actual plates on, like homemade plates.
Now, with that being said, like a shot to the dome puts them down. So I mean, it's balanced correctly. Oh, yeah. And I think I also saw the video that you were talking about where it was like, hey, pelvic girdle. If they have armor, shoot them in the dick.
oh yeah, they'll bleed out. Yeah, if you hit them in the leg, they'll sit there and bleed out.
The caveat, however, is if you don't restrain them, they usually have a handgun and they'll just like stand up or they'll shoot you on the ground, which is, it's super cool the first time it happens because you're like, no kidding. Didn't think that would happen until you are in mid gunfight and then you have to like try and hook somebody up and then you're trying to arrest them and then you get shot more and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm not doing that now. And then that guy you were arresting gets up and tries to shoot you and you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's really like it's a very balanced kind of like what am I thinking of?
I would say the pace is consistent.
It is.
You can kind of break the game a little bit. I mean, it's not when you end up with one of those kind of like hunt down the objective thing. I mean, you can kind of get a soft lock where one of the NPCs is stuck in a bush somewhere or something stupid. But every update, I will say, it feels like it happens less and less.
Well, as far as the pacing, I was thinking it's like the threat's neutralized, but it's a threat restraint. So if you run up on a guy, you tell him to drop his gun, he says, cool, man. He drops his gun, you might think, I can bypass this guy and keep on moving. Oh, buddy, terrible idea. If they're a suspect, you should put them in cuffs 100% of the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got an achievement just not too long ago.
Oh God! You're gonna really?
Sometimes subjects will pretend to be dead or incapacitated, and then sometimes they'll get back up and they'll shoot you. And then we had a situation where, to Kevin's credit, pretty sure in his image it would have showed a big old bullet in the guy's face. On my screen, it did not show a bullet in his face. I will say.
A hole through
I believe you.
Goggles into that man's brain. But how he survived that? I mean, the chances are 1 in a million.
Well, I got the achievement magician when it was subject pretends to give up and be incapacitated but isn't, which I thought was a kind of a strange detail because I mean there wasn't anything weird about the animation that would have told me that otherwise, so I'm not really sure.
Oh, the lifeless body. Yeah,
there wasn't, he wasn't groaning or anything, so I don't really know.
The massive pool of blood by his head.
It's the very oxygenated blood. Yeah, that's totally normal. It's definitely not coming from the brain.
It is.
It's totally cool.
It is. And then where are we forgetting? We're talking about replayability, which 100%. Yep. You can
talked about it, balance, updates, community. Yeah. I mean, the updates the community is active. The modding community is fully supported through the Steam version. Well, I don't know how that would even work on 360.
Well, Nexus mods also have a lot of cool mods you could.
Nexus mods is where I get our ground branch stuff. So
is it?
Yeah, I think that's where you. Isn't that where you got your? That was in game, wasn't it? Yeah. So I was modding using Nexus mods before that because before it wouldn't uninstall my mods when we played, but now I think it auto installs when the host has a mod, it'll temporarily install the mods when a guest plays in the host's server.
That's a good point. about the mods. So
Yeah.
in Ready or
that's
Not,
what I wanted to. That's what I was gonna. It
were you
doesn't work that
segueing?
way.
Were you segueing into
A
that?
less than ideal segue. So let's talk about stuff we don't like, because I think we've gushed pretty well for about 20 minutes. Let's talk about stuff we don't love. It's gonna be less. It's definitely less stuff.
Well, some of the AI behavior is a little janky at times.
Well, I would say when the soft locks, I mentioned them earlier, when they do happen, you're banging your head off a wall because it was probably a clean run. Where you did everything right, you got all the
or evidence,
all the
i.e. guns,
or guns will clip through the floor and you'll see the marker, but you can't touch it. So it still has those problems, and I would say it's an indie game, but I mean honestly, all games at this point do that. So that's a non-issue.
The not being able to move at a quicker speed,
that is definitely a problem.
I mean, if they put, I think I would be okay if they put a stamina, but it was a very small stamina, so that you wouldn't be able to run.
I don't know that I agree. I almost think you kind of need it to be at the pace that it's at.
No, I mean, some missions, like you can have, what if it was weight related? So if you want to wear light armor, you have stamina and you can run.
They kind of do that now, though, because your guy moves differently. He's a little slower the more armor you have.
Right. Okay.
Because they do have the weight. It's just maybe not that drastic.
Yeah. Maybe like a small stamina bar so you can do like a quick sprint.
At the very least. I mean, even just a brief sprint. That's all I'm asking, because sometimes it's just like when you're trying to get into cover, that's really my biggest problem. Right. Is when you're eating bullets and you're trying to do bounding cover, and it's just like this is not. Well,
it almost feels like you're stun locked sometimes. So you'll be walking down a hall.
Absolutely.
And you get pop, 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 and you're like, oh, what am I doing? What? And then you're dead.
Yep. Yeah, the hit markers, the hits are weird. It's a little overwhelming. I definitely agree. Now, with that being said, I will say the sensations do seem consistent based on where your guy reports being shot. So, like, getting domed it seems to be the same thing, so much that when my character has that effect on screen, I'm like, oh, I was probably shot in the head, kind of thing. Okay. So it's at least consistent. But it's a lot. It's kind of annoying.
Well, I feel like it goes to the pacing, and maybe they did it for the pacing.
Well, you're not supposed to be shot, right? The idea is that you're slow, or you're maybe not slowly, but you're effectively, methodically, thank you, that's even more appropriate, methodically checking your surroundings, which is fine.
Well, early game, it's fine because the suspects kind of hang out where they are, but later game, I believe they move around. So you might clear a room, and then lo and behold, you come back 10 seconds, 20, 30 seconds later.
Yeah, you think you're being clever with a chem light, and it's like, oh, that wasn't as helpful as I thought.
Yeah, the chem light
because you shot me from the room I wasn't checking.
Because they're moving around dynamically.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I? Aside from, it's very gory also. We'll just caveat that in there. Realism.
We're a half hour in here. I think people probably know.
They might not know. If you blow a man's head off.
30 minutes in and we're talking. I already made a joke about some girl tweaking.
Tweaking? What is tweaking?
The crackhead girl.
Oh, God.
I already talked about that, so I mean, they probably understand.
Don't do crack.
They probably understand. Well, I mean, they had what? They had a list to confirm stuff, but I mean, yeah, it's a mature game. It's more mature than Call of Duty. Like, if you're cool with your kids playing Call of Duty,
everything is more mature than Call of Duty at this point.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so I mean, this is like an actual mature game. Like what mature games were. This is like Spec Ops: The Line mature, where it's like it's deeper than just what it is.
Oh, Spec Ops might be a next game that we'd have to review.
I mean, yeah, it's a fun game. I definitely enjoy it. I'd like to talk about some of the goofy guns in that game, but I will say, so moving forward, just really quickly on goofy guns, I like the well thought out. I know we kind of already touched on this, but the models are really well thought out. I mean, even for the accessories, it's impressive. So while they don't seem to do much difference,
Attention
gun
to
to gun,
detail is very nice.
it's very good.
And the taser mechanic is always fun.
So the less than lethal stuff, they gotta do something about it. It's almost there. I don't know what it is about it that bugs me so.
I want a less than lethal 40 mic. That's all I want. That's all I need.
Yeah, I think I need that to be fleshed out more because it could be it's so close to being something. I don't know how else to describe it than when you play it. It's so close. Ever so close.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a pretty decent stopping point for this interesting review.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to talk about the game some other time if we have any other thoughts on it, see if we want to revisit, but figure it out.
That'd be great.
But yeah, thanks for having me on.
And well, thanks for being on. Anyway, all right. Well, adios.
All right, bye.
This is Talk. That's how we get it done, folks. Roll in for debrief.